Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's time to finish my week 5 pennant for my boho bunting. I'm loving this more and more as I go along. Actually, I'm really getting into the groove. So if I show you what I've done, at the end of the last video I just got the base pieces on, and I had I had started attaching my square mirror with the shisha technique. I'm very new to it. I will leave a link to Sarah Humphrey again because she just shows it really well and does a way better job, but I'm really enjoying it. And I've got this whole box of mirrors now which I got for £3.50. Delighted with that. So I think these mirrors are going to come into the bunting more and more as the weeks go on. So I also added another flat back jewel because I got those ones I found in my drawers. I might as well use up on here. I added another bead as well, one of the little beads that came out of the scrap bags from Bazaar. And then I've gone in and put a lot of decorative stitches, all very simple stitches, nothing fancy at all. Mostly straight stitches actually, and some French knots, and the lazy daisy there. This was just a stem stitch or something I've just kind of couched over. Nothing fancy at all. I've left my basting stitches showing because I just quite like the look of that, and I've just backed it with another piece of that purple cotton from the scrap bags. So all I need to do now, I'm leaving all the tops open at this stage because I haven't quite decided how I'm going to attach all my pieces to the tape or whatever I use in the end. So yeah, I've just left the tops open on all of them. So now I just want to make my dangler. Initially I was thinking of using the these feathers and making another tassel, but then I just came across, while I was digging through the little stash of stuff from the scrap bags, I found this little doodad which I love, and I think this would be perfect on the bottom of this one, but I just need to make it a little bit taller. So what I've done is I have just used the same crochet cotton that I used to attach my jewel there and the mirror at the top to just wrap around this bead. So I've got masses of beads which I keep from old broken necklaces and things like that. So I found these couple of kind of painted wooden ones with a really big hole, so they've definitely seen better days, and I quite like the look of them just like that, all weathered, but I thought it'd be perfect for doing this wrapping because it needs to have a big hole. So just quickly show you how I did that. I won't do the whole thing, but just show you how I did it. I've seen a YouTube tutorial at some point, but I couldn't find it again, so I've kind of made this up as I go along. I've got about I don't know, maybe a metre of thread. It probably won't take that much. So I just took I'm sure there might be a better way of doing this, but it seemed to work anyway. So I've just brought the thread up through the bead, and I'm just leaving a tail here enough to sort of keep hold of, and then I'm going to bring the needle back down and up through the bead again, and a little bit like a blanket stitch, I'm just going to catch that loop like that, and then I'm making a loop up there, bring the needle up through the bead and over the top of that loop. It's very much like the shisha stitching to hold the mirror on. So leaving the loop there, bring the needle up through, and I could leave them quite spaced out like that so the colour of the bead shows through, which I quite like, or I can make them closer together. So yeah, you could have them all close together like that, or just showing the bead through, which I quite like that look. So I'll just do a couple more. I don't think you need to see and watch me do this whole thing. Quite enjoy the doing of it. It's a bit time consuming, but you know, that's fine. Yeah. So once you've done the first couple of wraps, it's really simple. Just takes a little while. And you can see it starts to, yeah, so you can see it starts to make this neat little stitch around the top. So on this one that I've done, reminds me of a poppy seed head. Yeah, okay, so I will carry on and finish that one off camera later, and I can use that on a future tassel. So what I want to do now, because I thought this was just too short on its own and it just needed a bit of contrast, put my needle now down through the top of this thing. It's just like it's made of like a square or circle of silk stuffed and gathered up around it to make the little ball, and then there's braid around it and little beads stitched on and little bells on the end. I could make some more of these actually, because I've only got one like this, but I'm thinking I've got plenty of beads and things, so I could have a go at making one of these later. So yeah, that's quite fun, isn't it? I just think that looks cute. Oh, I've got this caught up. Yeah, I think that would be really nice. I think that finishes it off, just gives it a little bit more oomph. I'm going to come back up through, totally making this up as I go along, you can probably tell. There. And then I can put this through my little green bead. Also came out of scrap bags. You get plenty to play with in there, because I just thought that would be a nice combo. Happy with that, very happy with that. And then I can stitch this straight onto the bottom in my usual slapdash fashion. Oh, see, that serves me right for being slapdash. Part of the reason for being so cack-handed here is that I'm trying to do it at arm's length, so you can see it on the camera. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. There we go, all done. Just looks a bit naked here. It looks a bit naked here. I've made it too. What am I going to do about it? So what's bothering me is I've not pulled that up tightly enough, and I've got a little bit of a, oops, got a little bit of a gap. I'm just feeling like that looks a bit skinny there. I wonder if I shouldn't have had that green bead. Right, need to put my thinking cap on a minute. I'm going to stop recording. Okay, crisis averted. I ended up having to cut that green one off. It just didn't look right, and that looks much better now. And I just used some normal thread, one of my vintage threads I'm using up. Let's pulled it all the way through. Put a seed bead, one of the little seed beads came in the scrap bags. Ran the needle through that, pulled it back up through, and then did a couple of stitches here, and again lost the thread in between the layers. So I'm much happier with that now, definitely, and I'm very pleased with my unique cute little dangler. Right, so that's me done for this week, week 5. Next week will be week 6, so I'll be halfway through, and here's my little bundle of bunting so far. I'm really enjoying this, and the more I do of it, the more I get into it, and I think they're getting more sort of colourful and over the top as I go along, and I think I will actually really quite enjoy having this hung up in the house somewhere, maybe even outside the craft room. Okay, that's me done for today. Thanks ever so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and hope maybe you'll think about having a go at some boho bunting of your own. Let me know if you do, I'd love to see. Okay, cheerio for now, see you again soon, bye.